Hello friends, and welcome to another episode of Making Poor Decisions, where today I am going to bottle my sake and see if it's delicious or devilish. Alright, so today I am bottling my sake. Now, as a quick review, I have this bottle right here, which is just traditional sake, nothing inside of it. And in this bottle, I have my yuzu marmalade. Now, I've never had a flavored sake before. I've never actually seen one. So I don't know if I made a huge mistake or a poor decision, if you will. But let's take a look to see first. Take a look to see how it tastes. Yeah, let's take a look to see how it tastes. Before I bottle it, I want to make sure that I didn't make rice wine vinegar, first of all. Because I did this a little bit differently than I did the first time I made it. Very happy with the clarity. Now, it's kind of hard to tell maybe from this angle, but it's a little bit yellowish in color, and you can see now in mead making it's called lees. I'm not entirely sure what it's called with sake, but for the lack of a better word, or lack of a word that I know, I'm going to call it lees. But all this milky white stuff sitting at the bottom of my container, that is the leftover rice bits. So it started off as whole grains of rice, and then eventually it just kind of dissolved into this mush right here. So all of that is leftover rice and possibly dead koji spores and dead yeast as well. So color-wise, it's really nice. It has a very pale yellow looking color. Now, if you're a sake drinker, you might be thinking, well, every sake I've ever had has been pretty clear. Well, the first time I made this, it turned out pretty much the same color, and I thought that I had done something wrong. I thought that I made a mistake somewhere and it turned into vinegar. And as I was doing my research, turns out that really clear sake is basically altered. Most sake, when done naturally, turns into this yellowish color, but for an American palate or a Western audience, it's filtered a little bit and things are added to it to make it more clear because I guess we just found that color more appetizing than this pale yellow. But let's give it a sniff. On the nose, smells like sake. I don't think I made vinegar, but let's taste it. Tastes like sake. Oh, yeah, that'll get you drunk all right. Tastes like sake. I like it. It's strong. Oh, probably shouldn't have left it in for too long, or for longer as I did, I should say, because that is potent. It's not bad, but there's a really strong alcohol taste to it. So maybe I'll let this sit for a little bit. Normally I like to drink my sake right away, but I think I just let it sit in the container too long with all of the rice and just fermented a little bit more than I wanted it to, which is okay, it's fine. This might be better to mix into drinks, if I'm being perfectly honest. Now, as I mentioned in my previous videos, can't exactly test the ABV on this because there was no starting gravity. And there was no starting gravity because there was no sugar in the initial reading, because there's no sugar in rice or rice water. So just a quick recap, the koji spores convert the starches in rice into sugar, and then the wild yeast convert the sugar into alcohol. So without some fancy scientific tools or spending money and sending my sample to a lab, I don't really know how much alcohol is in here, but from the taste, there's alcohol in here. I sure did. Sure made some sake. So now I'm going to transfer the rice wine that I have in this container into this bucket. And then I'm going to be able to tell how much I have. Actually, I'm going to do some more. There we go. Now it's transferring. I'll be able to tell exactly how much I have. Now, I'm anticipating about 32 ounces just based on what I have in here. So I have 2 bottles, one for my regular and one for my yuzu. And I'll be back in a few moments to get the exact reading, but I'm anticipating 32 or 33 ounces. So as I anticipated, I had a little bit more than 32 ounces. Actually, as you can see here on my bucket, I have just about 40 ounces, which means I have plenty to fill this 32, 33 ounce growler here. And a little bit left over to enjoy on the side. I'm kind of glad that I don't really have too much going on today because this stuff is strong and I haven't really eaten too much, so it's gonna be a good day for Steffi. So I'm gonna let this fill up, just give it a few more moments, and then I will be back with the second bottle, the yuzu marmalade, to see if I like that one better than the original. So I gave a little bit of that original sake to my husband Ryan, and his notes were initially like a starburst, like a fruity candy, and then the more we drank it, the more it's just like there's a lot of alcohol in this. So on the nose, it is very reminiscent of what you would find in any liquor store, grocery store. It very much smells like sake, but the alcohol content in there, I would say it's probably above 20%. I've made meads before that are well above 20%, and I would say that it's probably maybe even higher, like maybe 25 or so, because it's like you have a couple sips and it knocks you back a little bit, which again, not bad. It's drinkable, right? You can drink it. It's not like I wouldn't spit it out, but I might prefer to mix this with something else to make a fruitier drink. But that was my regular sake. Still considering it a win. Not my tastiest brew ever. I'm not going to admit to that, but let's see what the yuzu is like. And then this is the one I'm most excited to try. It smells like citrus, like lemons. That's like the closest thing I can liken it to. And let's see how she turned out. Now she has the same amount of clarity. Same amount of rice leaves at the bottom there. Let's see what she's like to drink. Very citrus on the nose. Now I put not fresh yuzu, but yuzu marmalade in this. So I did put more sugar content into this carboy, or this fermenter. Not carboy really, it's an old milk jug, but so it's potential to have a higher alcohol content. Now I don't know what types of sugars were in that marmalade, if they were fermentable or not, but in theory this could be stronger than the regular one. So let's see what kind of taste she has. Oh. I would say stronger. I would say for sure stronger, but good. Can you taste the yuzu? Very floral, very prominent on the tongue. A bigger burn than the first one. So I would say they're both above 20% ABV. But again, I can't really tell for sure unless I send it off to a lab, which I'm not going to do. But I like it. I would say I like this one a little bit better than the original. I think they're both good. But at least that proves my theory that you can flavor sake. And, you know, flavored sake, to me at least, might be better than the original stuff. So now, let's put let's talk too. So let's put this sake into this container to see how much I have. Now, my original batch, I had about 40 or so ounces. And this I actually had a little bit less. So I'll probably have maybe closer to the 32 ounces for this batch, but we'll have a word from our sponsors and then we'll be right back to see. I'm just joking, I'm not sponsored. I have no sponsors. But what I do have is about 38 ounces of yuzu flavored sake, and I'll take that any day. I just gave a taste to my off-screen husband, Ryan, and he can't really taste the difference all that much. I can, and I think that's what matters. So I'm definitely going to have enough to fill this 32-ounce bottle plus a little bit extra. She's on her way now. She's filling it up. So I will be right back. And that's it. So I have two 32-ounce bottles of sake that I got from a 1-gallon batch. And it's not, doesn't really seem like a lot, but don't forget that there was a lot of rice left over. Are you done? Are you done? Okay, you're ashamed of me. All right, but there was a lot of rice in those batches. And so this is about what I got last time. I think I got 4 16-ounce bottles. So 2 32-ounce bottles sounds just about right. One of those bottles being my traditional and one of them being my yuzu, or is this the traditional and this is the yuzu? Shit. Whatever, I'll figure it out. I'm gonna let them age a while because the alcohol taste and smell was almost overpowering. Now, I only had a few sips and I'm already starting to feel it a little bit. So good job on that part. It's gonna do its job when I want to drink it, but I want it to taste a little bit smoother. Now, the traditional sake is a little bit ricey on the nose, a little bit floral on the nose, but the more you drink it, the more that alcohol taste just kind of overpowers everything because it's so strong. And then the yuzu has a very nice, light, citrusy taste to it. But again, the more I sipped on it, that's what I have right here in this glass, the more I sipped on it, the more alcohol I could taste because I suspect that the yuzu, which I think this is the yuzu one is a little bit stronger because I did add more sugar elements to that brew because it was a yuzu marmalade. The marmalade, of course, has sugar in it. But again, I'm not mad, to coin my phrase, all right? I'm not mad at either of these. Now, would this be something that I could sit down and pour glass after glass after glass of? Maybe not, for, you know, health purposes. But it's good. I think it would be a good mixer. And making sake is something that I'm still very new at and I want to get better at, and I actually want to make more flavors as well. Now that I know that the yuzu one worked out so well, maybe I'll do a strawberry one next, or a peach, or if you have any ideas for me, sound them off in the comments. I'd love to do it and I'd love to improve my process. But I will let these age a little bit just to see what happens to that overpowering alcohol taste if that ages out a bit like it does for my needs. But that's it. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you did like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you like this style of chaotic brewing content, go ahead and subscribe. I try to put out a video every Sunday or Monday. And if you want me to brew anything, if you have any ideas, I traditionally brew mead, I do sake, I could do cider. I'm starting to get into beer as well. I have a mentor, my friend Matt, who's walking me through that process now. So hopefully in a few months here, you'll see some brews on beer brews on this channel as well. But if you have anything in mind that you'd like me to do, even if it's a particular kind of mead, go ahead and shout out in the comments. I'd be happy to try it. I like to do chaotic and experimental brews, so nothing is going to be too strange for me. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys. Have a great day and happy brewing.